Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm really glad that you can join me here this morning. A few little pointers, things to be aware of. If you could switch your phones off or set them to quiet, put them away, that would be ideal. Also finding yourself a space where you're not going to be interrupted too much by pets, children, unless you're doing it with your children, of course. Some of you might be. So finding yourself a nice quiet space to relax within. For the first part of the session, you can do it kneeling. I've got a blanket underneath sort of the backs of my legs, or you can sit in a chair. If you've got any back issues, you can pop your back right back into the chair so that you're nicely supported. However, if you prefer, and ideally, it would be nice for you to come forward onto your sitting bones, to have your spine quite kind of upright, your shoulders down in the back, relaxed, your chin down, and your head as if it's being sort of, there's a thread at the back of your head. So sitting and kind of getting into the comfortable position for you, you should feel awake, you should feel aware, you should feel quite focused in this position. Now, what we're going to do this morning is we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up. We're then going to talk a little bit and become aware of minds and our busy mind. And then we're going to do a counting exercise up to the number 10. So I'll take you through these different parts of the session. So as with our warm-up, if anything hurts, if you've got any breaks or aches or pain, anything like that, the simple rule is to stop or slow down should you feel any pain. You shouldn't feel any pain. So warming up, breathing through your nose now, and exhaling through your mouth, fully and completely, starting to relax into your breath a little bit. And again, breathing through your nostrils and exhaling through your mouth, fully and completely. And from here on in, I'd like you to breathe in through your nostrils and out through your nostrils, unless you've got a cold or something of that shape or form. So taking your attention to your shoulders, we hold lots of tension in our necks, our jaws, and our shoulders. So I'd like you to gently roll them back. See if you've got any crunchy bits. Ooh, I always tend to have crunchy bits a few times. And then rolling them forward again a few times. And see if you're aware of any aches or pains that you might have. And then what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to hunch those shoulders up, have your hands, if they're hanging, hold it like that. And then as you release your breath, breathing out and relaxing and lowering. And again, we'll do that one more time. Squeezing up to your ears, hands dangling, and then releasing on your out breath and relaxing. Taking your awareness now to your neck and your jaw and your kind of throat area. Being aware of any damage that you might have, being aware of the opposite side of your neck and not stretching or overstraining it, but tip your left ear down to your left shoulder and feel that stretch. And then aware of the opposite side, not stretching it or overstraining it, tip your right ear down to your right shoulder. And then I'd like you to look up at a 45-degree angle, just really well, and then look back down. And what I'd like you now to do is take your left hand, keep your spine, move it up so that you're expanding it as much as possible. You're not hunching, you're expanding. Take your left hand and put it round to your right knee, and then gently turn a little bit. And you should feel a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a sort of a spin kind of feel. And then come back round to the center. And again, lifting the spine up, not keeping it hunched or crunched. Take your right hand over to your left leg and then gently moving your spine. You should feel ever such a slight little sort of turn in the spine. It should feel quite nice. And gently come back to the center. Place your hands together over your heart center. Keep those shoulders down in the back. And then what I'd like you to do is to press your hands over to the right hand side. You feel quite an intense stretch actually. It's quite a big one. Doesn't look like much, but it is. And then over to the left hand side. And back to the heart center. And then rub your hands together to make a little bit of warmth. And place them over your tummy area, gently closing your eyes, breathing in through your nostrils, out through your nostrils, and starting to now tune into your breath. Tuning into the rise of your belly on the in-breath and fall and the lowering on your out-breath. Breathing in and simply breathing out, exhaling. Now, when you breathe in positivity, calm, relaxation. And as you breathe out any sense of tension or tiredness or stress that you might have. Now we're focusing on an in-breath and an out-breath, a one part and a two part. But what I'd like you now to do is, keeping your eyes closed, start to become aware that there are actually four parts of the breath. There is the inhalation, tiny pause, it might just be fractional, then the exhalation, and then a tiny pause before you begin again. And I'd like you now to become aware of those four parts and how it feels for you. Don't push or press or force your breath. Simply see what you find. Notice what is there. How does your breath feel? Does it feel a little bit unsettled? Perhaps you're good in the morning and it feels nice and calm and deep. Perhaps for some of you it feels a little bit jumpy or raggedy. Perhaps some of you it feels quite cool, and for some of you fairly warm. See what you find. Just simply notice. Don't judge. Whatever you find is right for you. Make that your last in-breath and exhalation. And gently open your eyes. Now, for the next part of the exercise, you can be free to continue to sit in your chair. You might want to move to get yourself a bit more comfortable, or you can lie down with a blanket over you if you prefer to do that, with your legs sort of out in front of you, a space between your legs, and your arms at the side of your body with a space. Your hips should be relaxed, your shoulders back, chin tipped down, and imagining a thread at the base or the back of your head. So I'll give you a little bit of time just to get yourself comfortable. And before we close eyes, I'd like you to talk to you a little bit about monkey mind, busy mind, wandering mind. This is kind of what we all experience. Some of us might be busier than others. The reason I got into this about 20 years ago was because I have a very busy mind. Now, the aim of mindfulness and meditation is not to still the mind. It's not to find some kind of illusory perfect space. There are always going to be noises that intrude. There's always going to be things or thoughts or ideas that intrude. We'll always be thinking. Even when we sleep, our brains are still actively engaged with the processes of respiration, keeping our heart pumping and beating, keeping our hormones produced. Our brains are always working. So we don't want to still the mind completely. We cannot do that. The task of mindfulness is not to clear the mind, but to simply become more aware of the patterns of the mind. And if your mind wanders now over the next couple of minutes, I'd like you to Notice the thoughts and the ideas and the feelings that are there. Acknowledge them and notice them. For some of you, your mind might wander briefly. For some of you, it might wander for quite a long period of time. And when you become aware of these ideas and thoughts and concepts and visions or images, become aware of them, and then simply bring your breath, your attention back to your breath. And your mind might wander many times for short periods or longer periods, but simply bring your attention back to your breathing. So close your eyes now. You can place your hands on your tummy area if that feels good, and tune into your breath. Start to become aware the rise on the inhalation and the fall and the lowering on the exhalation. You might find a rise in your tummy, your rib cage expanding, chest opening and expanding, and as you breathe out, the falling and the lowering. And I'm going to give you a minute now to become aware of those processes, the rise and the fall. And should your mind wander, acknowledge the thoughts, but bring your attention back to the rise and the fall. On your next in-breath, I'd like you to be aware of your breath in, counting the number 1, and as you breathe out, count the number 2. On your next breath, the number 3 in, and the number 4 out. And I'd like you to continue that up to the number 10, taking your time. Should your mind wander, bring it back to the number you can last remember. And make that the last number that you count. This is a really nice exercise to do. Once you reach the number 10, you can go back round to the number 1 again. Or once you reach the number 10, you can just simply continue counting up. So I'd like you now to be thinking of an intention for yourself. We'll have a break in these sessions for the next 2 weeks, but I'd like you to think of intention for yourself. It might be something very simple. I am calm. I am happy. Or it could be an intention for somebody else, a loved one, a family member. And I'd like you now to say that intention to yourself quietly in your mind a couple of times as you breathe in and as you breathe out. That's your intention, whatever it may be, for the next couple of weeks. You can remind yourself of it. Now we need to gently awaken you, bring you back to full attention. So breathing in through your nostrils and releasing and exhaling through your mouth fully and completely. And another big breath in, slightly more energized, and release through your mouth fully and completely. Start to move your fingers, start to move your toes, start to become aware of the sounds inside the room, the sounds outside the room, contact of your clothes on your body, the contact of your body on the chair or the floor. Breathe in, breathe out, and gently open your eyes. You can move your shoulders a little bit, maybe wiggle your hips, your knees, rub your hands together, stretch your hands out, open them up a couple of times. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you got something from the practice. I have recorded this, so I'll be sharing it later so that people can have a look at it. You can do it with your learners, that kind of thing, or repeat it again. So thank you very much for joining me. If you liked the session, please pop a little comment on if you are looking at it through Staff Life or the Education Closure page. So, Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much.